So I'm just saying that, like, Luka, not the skinniest guy. Jokic, not the skinniest guy. I'm not saying I could have made the NBA. I'm just saying my body prospect is starting to look a little better in 2022.
Yeah, but the amount of skill these guys
These two brown guys love basketball. Brown guys love basketball. Who doesn't love basketball? So let's talk basketball.
How about that theme song?
Wasn't it fantastic? That was my one prerequisite. That was my one prerequisite for doing this podcast. I need that theme song. It has to be like a 90s sitcom. And how amazing was it? Made it in 15
it was good.
minutes.
I forgot it because I've only heard it 14 times. So it was nice to hear it for 15. It starts to really, embed itself in your brain. So
let's talk basketball. It's just sultry.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of singing roles, hey?
Tons. I'm auditioning for the reboot of Glee.
I actually really liked it. It's right up my alley. Great. So, I mean, Sachin gave me something later on in the pod, so we'll kind of it's just a tease as to what's coming later. Welcome everyone to the Brown Guys Basketball Podcast. So
we've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah, it's something we've wanted to do for a while. My name's Justin Delhan.
I'm Sachin Sahil.
And we are just two brown guys who've been friends for years who disagree about everything basketball, and we thought maybe we'd put it to the world and see whose side is right and whose side is wrong.
I mean, mine's going to be right.
Your Instagram following is definitely not in my favor, so I don't like my chances.
I wonder if they're going to side with me. What if they turn against me because of my basketball takes?
I hope so.
I was thinking about this. We've gone from playing basketball in your backyard with your dad teaching us those hook shots to this. So I'm pretty amped about it.
I don't even know if this is progress.
We're regressing slowly.
Yeah, I think we're regressing backwards. But no, it's something basketball's been a big part of our lives, and we've been basically talking basketball for 20 plus years now.
More than that.
The only difference in me and Sachin really is, other than our opinions, is age. And I'm not going to say how old either of us is, but let's just say I think LeBron's the GOAT.
And I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Oh, sorry. Sachin's line was, and I am wrong. But yeah,
and I know, I'm sorry. And I know Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. Anyway, so
it's not even a question.
It's two different generations talking about this generation of basketball, but we both have an appreciation and love for the game right now. So we thought we'd get something out there before the 2022-23 season starts, which starts today. And it's really
2022-23.
Yeah.
God, I still feel like it's 2000.
Party
Let's
like
go.
It's
His airness,
baby.
His airness, baby.
His airness. Oh yeah. I will give him this. I think he had the better movie.
You think? Come on.
No, I'm talking about Space Jam and Trainwreck. I'm talking. I'm not even acknowledging the other Space Jams. But
please do not. Thank you so much.
That's how I lose more Instagram followers. All six.
We're repping the Raptors, 2019 champions, with the game I was at that they won. And Steph Curry, the Steph Curry 8s.
That's right. You were at the Raptors versus Golden State.
Pascal Siakam gave me his game-winning headband. I have a video of it.
Yeah, well, when you're a towel boy, you're supposed to get all that stuff.
I don't understand why they didn't give me the shoes.
Yeah,
the backpack,
no, that's
everything.
a really cool story. He actually, I think Sachin has video that we might post up later of him on the court, like celebrating. Or what were you?
Let's post it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's so
cool.
So we're both from Canada. We both root for the Raptors, but he's a little bit harder of a Raptors fan than I am. I am a diehard whatever team LeBron is on. I just want to get my biases out of the way. So
bias.
We're gonna have fun this podcast.
You have one bias.
Very, very
the biggest
strong
possible bias.
Thick hairlined bias.
Oh my God, thick. Come on. God, see, they're seeing through it right now. They're seeing through the cracks early, and I love it.
I don't even want to look at my Instagram. It's just dwindling down. So we thought we'd do a little season preview for you guys. So we have some fun topics to talk about. We wanted to go over like MVP, finals picks, breakout players. Sachin has a disappointing or surprise player, I'm not going to tell you which one, that he is very excited about this year.
Very excited.
Someone oldie but a goodie. Let's just put it that way. And so we thought we'd start the episode with a little bit of a prediction for this season, starting with who we think is going to be the MVP. So, Sachin, I'll let you take the floor on this one.
I mean, I think this year's actually not very close. I think it's Giannis. Again, just watching, you know what? Because nobody talks about the Bucks or Giannis. They talk about him in passing, but he is the most dominant player this NBA has seen in a long time because nobody can guard him. And he can't really be stopped. You added Joe Ingles coming off the bench, which is another space 3. He's just going to dominate. And last year, they got to the playoffs and they're doing very well without Middleton. Now they have Middleton back. The floor is open. It's Giannis's MVP to lose as far as I'm concerned because they're going to be number 1 in the East. And
he has a good chance to start the season strong, like with numbers wise, because Middleton is out for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, but then he'll be back. So he can kind of get out to a nice lead.
That's a great call. Gets in a flow early on by himself, and then all of a sudden, it's like when you're shooting with like a heavier basketball, and all of a sudden you get a lighter one. You're just like, oh, this is nice.
No, I think that's a good pick. Not the right pick, but definitely a good pick. See, the right pick would have been.
Yes.
Now everyone's expecting me to say LeBron. I'm not going to go that deep. Don't worry, guys.
God, if you did, I would hang up.
Could you imagine? No, I
can't imagine. I can.
I actually have his just not doppelganger, but similar-esque player in his younger days. I have Luka winning the MVP this year, and okay. I think Giannis could have a better season than Luka, and Luka could still win the MVP. Because I think for the last 3 years now, we have had voters dying to give Luka the MVP, but just he hasn't been able to put together a full season. I know a couple of years ago he came in overweight, and then he had a struggling start the previous year. So this year, I think, he showed us in that Suns game what he can do, that Game 7, which was, unbelievable for the Mavs to win with that roster against the Suns. But I think this year he's going to put it all together. The West it's difficult if they get a top 4 seed, though. If he can, with that roster, get a top 4 seed in the West, I think it's a lock. And Luka's usage is outrageous.
He's amazing. And I don't think anybody questions Luka's ability at all. It's just a matter if he puts it together with the team, because that team has to have a good record. In this league, a lot of the time, MVP goes to a better record than necessarily
we've had
if Giannis has better numbers.
Yeah, I agree. A couple. Very few, though. You're right.
But I wonder how that team's going to do. He's got to be healthy.
I think Christian Wood is going to have a comeback player of the year type of season. I think. Yeah. I don't know if he's even eligible for that. He was fine last year, but yeah, I think that team has potential to surprise some people.
Why are they bringing him off the bench? Just starting JaVale McGee. No disrespect to JaVale. I think you're a great center, but Christian Wood is a stud.
I think there's a lot of people that might be stuck in the starters days of that's the way, like you start all your best players. But honestly, and you might agree with me on this one, don't you think it's just about who your crunch time 5 is? Like, who are you ending the last 8 minutes with?
No question. But I agree with that is more important. But I think you got to start the game off on a good foot. I think you need to have enough good bench players that your best starting 5 can be your best players. It shows me a detriment to your team that you need one of these guys who should be starting to come off the bench. And that automatically shows me that you feel like there's a weakness. And you need a bench to win the NBA.
I agree with that. Like when the Lakers won a couple of years ago, like they were playing 8 guys. I mean, you had guys like Caruso. He started in the last few games, but guys like that coming off the bench. But those were the ones who were finishing the game, right? And that's where I started to realize I kind of like the idea of having a strong bench unit and not playing your 5 guys. I think the Thunder were ahead of that with Harden years and years ago, having Harden come off the bench and just dominate and he would still finish the games, but just being able to carry momentum against second tier guys was huge for them.
But that was like a young Harden. This Christian Wood isn't a young guy anymore. Yeah, I think once you've played enough in the league, you've earned like a starting position. Unfortunately, there's an ego sense to it too, where a player is like, I should be starting and I'm not. A lot of players relinquishing that. It's a great attribute if you don't need it, but to give that player that confidence and that boon that we believe in you, start him. Make him feel like a starter over JaVale McGee. Like,
as someone who's watched McGee with the Lakers, McGee might end up getting 10 minutes a game. So it might.
I think that's what's gonna happen. You're right.
You might end up being right before November's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think you're right that it's not going to be a full. It's like Looney on Golden State.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you got Giannis, I got Luka. All right, let's go with finals picks. So, Sachin, who you got in the finals?
Again, I'm taking Milwaukee because I think they're going hard this year versus my Golden State Warriors. My
And who you
Steph
got
Curry
winning?
and my Golden State Warriors. I got Golden State. Jordan Poole is mini Steph. A lot of people were worried about losing a lot of guys this year. Porter and Gary Payton II, but getting Kuminga where he's at now, and their new kid center.
Oh, Wiseman.
Wiseman, who I watched in the preseason, is humongous on the court. He just looks giant coming off the bench. Yeah. I think that team actually upgraded somehow after last year. And Clay is going to be around all year. Draymond punch, regardless of Draymond punch. Yeah, I was
about to say, you have Golden State punching their way to the finals, hey?
But I mean, like all good teams have a little drama. You need it.
Yeah, it's true. I can't, as a fan of LeBron James teams, I can't really speak to drama not working.
I wonder if it follows him around for some reason.
I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna. I don't know the mentality of his teamates, but yeah, that's
just
not a bad.
Everybody know I love LeBron. I think he's great.
He hates me, and so it's a real conflicting decision for him.
Top 5 of all time. Okay,
yeah,
top 5.
Yeah, wow, love LeBron, top 5. Wow. So I got in the finals. I got the Bucks going there as well, and that, by the way, might be also why I'm not loving Giannis for MVP. I think Giannis is turning that page. Not that he can't win an MVP, but more about like it's about winning championships for him. You know what I mean? So I think he's a guy who I don't see resting very much unless like there's an injury, but he might be convinced to take 6 to 8 games off before the playoffs start, like kind of keep his body in shape, just because it matters more for him now to win those chips. Like he's done the MVP thing, right? But
totally.
Anyways, I got the Bucks, and I am a big fan and believer of the Memphis Grizzlies. And I'm not saying they will. I got the Bucks winning it all. I'm not saying Memphis will like for sure get through it. This is not a confident pick, but it's a team that I love what their front office has done. The analytics department is unreal in Memphis. Their drafting is just like it's so unbelievably good. They're like light years ahead, as the Warriors once said, light years ahead. So I think Ja's health is a big concern for all of this. The way he plays is not a 82 game type of
scares me.
Yeah. Scares me too, but I don't know. I just watching them play without Ja last year was so impressive.
You can tell like when a good team loses they play with so much gusto on the defensive end all the time. It's like a chip on their shoulder to play defense, and I think all good teams have to have that.
I really like both ends. I like the confident, like I don't know, cockiness is probably the right word, but I like that you know what I mean, when a team goes up against Golden State, they might like be afraid, and like Memphis does not. Even though Memphis lost, they have no fear of playing anyone, and I love that about them. So
you have to have that in sports. It's almost has to be like it has to be almost fanatical, your belief in yourself, delusional.
And most of these guys had to be delusional. How many people you think told them that the NBA is a pipe dream, right? You have to be delusional to make it, right? So
great point. It's a great point.
I think we both agree on one thing. Really hope that the Grizz and the Warriors get to play each other in the playoffs this year.
I would love that.
At full health on both sides. Oh,
bring them back. Yeah, let's run it back. Let me watch that now that they've had a year.
Exactly, right? So all right. So we got our finals picks. We got our MVPs. Let's talk about a little breakout players. Sachin's got quite an interesting duo here, actually, that he wants to talk about from a team that you may not expect.
Well, because I didn't think I was doing a team. I just picked 2 guys, and I was like, this makes sense to me. Okay, and historically, man, I don't mean to LeBron bash, maybe just because I'm talking with you, and I know you love him so much this is happening, but every person that gets traded from a LeBron team, like Kuzma, D'Angelo Russell, Ingram.
Ingram.
Right?
Yeah.
These fantastic players who did, I said Kuzma, right? They just left, and now there are these awesome players who, when they're in LA, might not have been able to shine. So like Talon Horton Tucker now just left and went to Utah, and now he's I think he's gonna blow up, because a lot of people were talking about how great he was. Even LeBron, just on LeBron teams, you might not get the ball as much as you think you should.
I think he's a clutch client, so I think LeBron might have. Sorry. So THT is on your breakout player list, all right?
Yeah, and Colin Sexton.
Yes, that was the other one.
Yes. So I know that it's Utah. It's a lot of Utah.
Do you want to add Jordan Clarkson to it and just call it team 32%?
I think he's already going to have an amazing year. He's not off the bench anymore. Jordan Clarkson was so much fun to watch. He was like Jamal Crawford-esque.
Yeah, I think the only thing with Clarkson is he's in my eyes, most likely going to get traded for.
They were just talking to him, about Jake Crowder for the Suns, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm guessing that would be to flip Crowder afterwards, because there's no way the Jazz want to keep any of these guys.
And Crowder would have a buyout. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they want Wembanyama.
That's the tank is on in Utah.
Yes. I can't wait for that.
They're just trying.
How many people are going to tank?
Accumulate French players. They let one go and bring in the next one.
They should have a play out tournament. The guys that are trying
to I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Right.
So okay, you've got Sexton and THT. Gonna miss Sexland. I got Cade Cunningham. I'm not sure if it's a breakout. I mean, he's a number 1 overall pick, but more so, I am excited to see Detroit, and I think he's going to lead that charge. Killian Hayes was someone who I liked when they drafted him, and now he's kind of out of the rotation. So that team has gotten a lot deeper. And I mean, I shouldn't like Detroit because they have Isaiah Stewart, and him and LeBron don't like each other.
Speaking of punching,
that was wild, right? I think he's still swinging. But
on his way out,
it's just like wait till I see him next time. But
it's like boys in the hood.
Yeah, I'm super excited to watch Cade Cunningham this year. I've never enjoyed Detroit Pistons basketball, and I think they're finally going to be playing a brand that I'm on board with.
Totally.
So
that's what
I got.
Cade Cunningham is fun to watch.
Yeah,
there's so much talent in the league right now, much more than we ever had.
Yeah,
it's just every team has a star.
One team I'm excited to watch that I don't know what the results could be all over the map, which makes it so exciting, is Minnesota. Because I have no idea what mix is going to be like at all.
But the talent is it's crazy. The amount of leads they blew, they never want to do that again. Stuff like that has to happen to a young team. It has to happen for them to be like, this can never happen again.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot of the reasons they brought in Gobert, right? That their interior defense was atrocious. And the one interesting thing is I think Towns' numbers are going to go statistically down, not so much scoring, but everything else, because he's going to be playing a little more on the perimeter. And so rebounding will go down. But I think his 3-point shooting is going to go up.
Me too.
And he's a great shooter.
How often is it that you can add such a great player to a team and not have it affect anybody's offensive touches?
Yeah, cool.
Right? Like when with Tyson Chandler back in the day. Yeah, his one got a great shimmy. But I like that about him. Great example. Is that you just have this center there that you can place in place of another center, and everybody still gets their exact same offensive touches. So if you have a great offensive team, you've now just become a great offensive and defensive team. I think it was a brilliant ad. Yeah. I mean, the cost was outrageous, which I think kind of set the Kevin Durant market way out of whack. If Gobert's worth Kevin Durant market, Durant is worth what? The whole team and then some? I don't know what you do at that point. So totally. So those are our guys. So you got Sexton and THT, and I got Cade Cunningham. Very sexy Utah picks. No, it's good. It's good stuff. You should have added Lauri Markkanen into that. He's gonna be coming off the bench. You know what? The Jazz. I think the Jazz are really coming out on top this year. In the playout tournament, they're getting the playout tournament is happening. You heard it here first, guys. Yeah, so okay. Next on our list of preview is one team that we think will disappoint, and drum roll for who you guys think Sachin's gonna pick based on every comment he's made. I didn't realize how much I was gonna be. I might win the Instagram battle. This fan base is rabid. Yeah, if there are Lakers fans that like me, this is in trouble. I'll try to be more less attacky at Justin on other podcasts. But I think the Lakers. What did they do in this offseason? Like, they added Patrick Beverley. They didn't make the play-in tournament last year. You know, everybody was always like, oh, Anthony Davis, if Anthony Davis was healthy. Anthony Davis is never healthy. He's never been healthy. So you can't rely on that. They are one person away from not even being the play-in tournament. If they could get Victor Wembanyama, I'm sure that they could. You know, and that's the problem is, like, we're talking about good teams. Memphis lost Ja. They still played really well. Golden State lost Clay the whole season. They were still number one the whole season. This team loses one person and they're out. They're done because LeBron teams notoriously hold the ball. In the NBA, you have to move the ball, and they can't do that the way that they play. So they either need to change the way they're playing, change their personnel, or do something. Because, I mean, like, look at the teams that have won the championship the last couple of years, right? Is we have Lakers, Spurs, Golden State, teams that move the ball, the Raptors even. So it's like, if you lose one guy and your team destroys, I don't think you're a good team.
Yeah. I mean, the counter argument to that was when the Golden State Warriors lost Steph, they won 13 games or something.
That is true. You know what? I don't think I necessarily mean your star to say, like, if you lose LeBron, you can say that team is going to count it out. But your second guy, AD, right? Your second guy, Clay. But Memphis lost Ja and they still were able to do it. That shows how good Memphis is. Giannis and the Bucks, they lost Middleton. They were still doing okay.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. The depth on the Lakers is atrocious. I mean, you're not going to hear an argument from me. I mean, I don't think they're going to disappoint strictly because I don't think, as a fan, I don't have great expectations for them. But I do agree. Media talks about the Lakers more than any other team. And there's always going to be guys who are way too extreme on them in the positive. Yeah. And so I agree with you there that there's nowhere to go but mid in my mind with the Lakers.
Yeah, you're right. If you make mid, that's a successful season in my estimation.
So the team that I think is going to be a little bit disappointing is, I think the East is quite interesting with teams like the Raptors, Boston, Milwaukee being better. I think Philly's going to be amazing. I think the Heat kind of get lost in that shuffle a bit. I know Heat culture and Jimmy Butler.
Wait, you don't think the Heat are going to do well?
I don't think they're going to do well this year.
Oh, wow.
I think they're going to make the playoffs. I just think overall this year, the Heat, to me's ceiling, unless they make a big move, is second round at best. And I think they've shown the last few years that they're better than that. So that's what I mean when I say disappoint. I don't think that the Heat, I don't think they're on the tier of Boston, Milwaukee, or Philly. No, I don't think they're close to those three. But I could be wrong.
But I think that teams, it's funny. I think Miami is a team that, when you have Bam and Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, you're probably like, oh man,
Speaking
nobody's really excited.
Healthy, AD, Bam, those guys.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Long fours, they just can't stay on the floor. It's frustrating.
I don't know what it is. Honestly, I think you have to change your game a lot. A lot of these guys that play really above the rim early in their careers, it really shortens their careers. You have to learn early that you have to use that when you can. Use that when it's useful. Vince changed. That's why he had such a elongated career, because he decided to slow down all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's really Vince important.
Really, he's someone that if you were to ask me in his 26, 27-year-old year, how long this guy's going to play, you would have probably guessed 33. That would be out. Yeah. And he found
too athletic.
Way. Yeah.
But he started playing really smart, backing down, taking a lot more threes, learning how to shoot better.
Yeah.
And you have to do that early because when those knees go, they're gone.
Yeah. They don't come back. So
they don't come back. You don't get back your knees.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience, and I'm not remotely in the NBA.
Okay. So then you got the Lakers. I got the Heat. Those are two very big fan bases. So we've probably pissed off 60% of the listeners by now.
As we're going to. Yeah. The way we talk about this, we're going to destroy people.
Let's talk about something positive. Something that I think that we as Canadians can appreciate. And that is guys who need to be Andrew Wigginsed. So if you don't know what that means, audience, it's what was it, 24 months ago? Would you say Andrew Wiggins was considered the worst contract in the NBA?
Yeah.
24 months ago before the trade. And
it was bad.
It was bad. Now, today, Andrew Wiggins has just signed a 4-year extension, $109 million.
So proud. So happy.
So
Canada.
What changed? The player is not any different in terms of who he is as a player. He's a second, third best player on a good team type of guy. Long, can rebound, but doesn't do anything extremely well, but does all the little things kind of well. He went to a team with structure. He went to a team with pedigree. He went to a team with veterans. He went to a team that could use him in the role he was meant to be used.
Yeah.
So having said that, so he got Wigginsed. Who is your?
I like that terminology.
Yeah, it's a
because this is actually notoriously a thing. Like Steve Nash, if he didn't go to Phoenix, would he be Steve Nash? Okay to
you pair him up with
a system.
Yeah, Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash were meant to be together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So funny. I wonder how many players would crush it if they were in the right system.
Yeah, well, and it's a lot of what ifs. Yeah. So. I know you have someone that you wanted to talk about who needs to be Andrew Wigginsed.
I think Buddy Hield, who's now from the Indiana Pacers. He was on Sacramento before. Indiana and Sacramento, I mean, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
But if he was on a system that, for example, like a Golden State or like a D'Antoni system where you got to just run and gun, that guy could shoot the lights out.
Yeah.
And he's doing this within the flow of the offense. Like, a lot of great shooters that are kind of playing in an offensive scheme that has them running around screens every once in a while and doing their shot thing when it's their turn, as opposed to just running and gunning like a Klay Thompson and Steph. If he was on a scheme like that, I think he would just blow up.
So his bags are currently packed. He just doesn't know where he's going. So
somewhat fast.
Yeah. I mean, so what would be your idea? I mean, I don't think Golden State would be able to do it. There'd be too much money being moved out. So who would be your ideal? Where would he go? Where could he get Wiggins that like the right structure? And that's the kind of player they would need.
What's another like really fast paced team? Honestly, like I think the Raptors don't have shots going around anymore. They don't have the ability to move that ball the way that they need to.
Because like I actually think he'd be really good on the Lakers only because they don't have any shooting. So he would be getting as much volume. He could eat all day.
Yeah, but set shots. I don't want set shots for him. I want run in the flow of the offense. I want ridiculous amount of output on a fast break.
Oh, I think LeBron likes to get out in transition more than people realize. Like his transition numbers are, when he's healthy, are actually quite high. Yeah. I think the issue with the Lakers, and the reason it looked bad last year, is if you don't have shooting and you go out on transition, well, you don't have that threat of kicking it out for three, which used to, like 10 years ago, wasn't even a thing. You're going to the hole every time, right? But I think now if you can get him, just say two shooters, like KCP was a perfect example. Someone who can he's going to get in the corner and hit that three. Not every time, but it's a threat. You have to respect it. Imagine Hield.
But I also think his numbers would be the same. I'm talking about he would go to a different team, and instead of 19 points, I think he's averaging, he would average 27.
Oh, wow. Okay. So those are star level numbers. So
I think Buddy Hield is an amazing shooter. And I think in the right scheme, he could be awesome. Now, you know what? 27 might be a lot, but I'm just saying he would shoot better percentage. He would have more open looks, and he'd be able to play in the flow of the offense more. So like 19, maybe up to 24. Which is a big jump.
You already said 27, so we're cutting and tagging it at that, so that'll be fun.
Copy that. 27 points.
27 points. You heard it here first. New York Knicks. Let's go.
The Knicks. Great run. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's what Andrew Wiggins needed. The Knicks.
Yo, he's not a 3-point shooter. Andrew Wiggins needed someone who. The greatest thing about Steve Kerr is he learned under Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson. He knows how to bring the best out of everyone and not have to use the things that they're bad at. Because somebody else can.
The greatest thing about Steve Kerr is he knows how to take a punch.
100%. Knows how to take a punch, can hit a free throw. Apparently,
I'm
that's
make
all you need in the NBA.
Draymond Green jokes and see how many people catch, because that's going to be the whole podcast.
I love it. I wonder, Steve Kerr must have just been like, again? Except it wasn't Jordan that punched him. It was Draymond Green. So you're like, is this
I'm
following
not certain
me?
that Draymond Green hasn't punched Steve Kerr, and we just haven't seen the video.
But Draymond knows that Steve Kerr can take it, so he probably wouldn't swing at him. He's like, damn, MJ punched him. There's no point in doing this.
So this whole Draymond new media thing, not really working out when you're the story, hey?
Not ideal. I can't even imagine. I think the day before he got like a school named after him or something, some sort of high school gym. And imagine walking into the Draymond Green exercise facility,
and there's just a brawl because they all.
It's a boxing gym.
Much.
It's a boxing gym. You can't lift there. You can only punch.
Okay, that's so you got Buddy Hield for your Andrew Wigginsed. Moving on here, what topic we got? We got the surprise or disappointing player. We talked about this earlier. Sachin has an oldie but a goodie, so we'll let you take the floor.
I believe in my old guys. Hey? I believe in him. I think John Wall going to the Los Angeles Clippers off the bench is going to be sensational. I think he's excited. I think he's motivated. I think we've never got to see the John Wall that still exists in Washington. He's great. It's just ever since he left there. Like, the thing is, the reason I believe in it is because it was the moment he left that things changed, right? And a lot of things have gone on in his life. And I love a comeback story of like, I came out of this stronger and better. I've got a second lease on life. I was once this amazing player. I know I'm still this good. And I get to come off the bench and play against other teams' bench teams, this all-star. who's still pretty fast, still can shoot, and still knows how to pass the ball? John Wall.
Well, I mean, one, I'm gonna argue a little on can shoot. Not really the greatest shooter. Can drive.
When you get older, your shot just gets better.
Oh yeah, I guess if we're using that logic, then I can't argue with it. Vince Carter was a good example, but
100% me at the YMCA.
Yeah, there.
I'm much slower.
Okay, here's the pushback on John Wall.
Okay,
I don't know how much opportunity he's going to get when that team is fully healthy. Because if you go through the roster of you have Paul George and Kawhi, obviously we know what they're going to do. But Reggie Jackson has an expectation after signing that contract as to what his role is on that team, right? And then they brought in Robert Covington. There's only so many minutes to go around. And I mean, obviously Zubac and Wall aren't the same in the same stratosphere, but you're going to want to play Zubac some minutes. So I think the small ball lineups, maybe because of how good George and Kawhi are, you might be able to get away with Reggie and Wall, but I don't know how often you'll be able to play.
A good backup point guard in the NBA, like a good backup center comes in and gets rebounds and blocks. A good Robert Covington comes in and plays defense and is a 3-point shooter. A good backup point guard in the NBA comes in. Remember that year with the Raptors where we had TJ Ford and Jose Calderon?
Yeah.
Right. And both of those guys are legit. And he was a legitimate all-star coming off the bench. So if he gets 20 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game, and absolutely plays like John Wall, or even a facsimile of John Wall, they are winning. And honestly, on a comeback trail, I love it.
If they get a like 80% version of John Wall, I mean, first of all, let's be real. The Clippers are the all health team, right? Like there's so many health question marks on that team.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I can see it and definitely it's a good story, and he's not going to be asked to be too much. So
totally, he's not asked to do much, and he's coming back from such I love people come back from these stories and they're like, watch this. You forgot who I am. Watch this.
No, that's fair. And so
it's my feel good Rudy story.
Yeah, we have Sachin's one team that will disappoint, the Lakers. His surprise player of the year, John Wall and the Clippers. He is just all in on this one very pigeonholed idea as to what he's rooting against. No, it's good. It's good. I'm happy.
But you realize it's 100%. But am I wrong in any of my takes? I have a distaste for them.
So now the reason I am saying all this, this is called a lead-in into what I'm going to be saying, because I think we talked about it earlier, and
tell me.
So let me preface this. So you went with surprise, I went with disappointing. My disappointing player is not someone I expect to do poorly by any means. I think they're going to have a great year, and I think their team's going to have a great year, and their hat is over your shoulder, and I'm like looking at it and I feel like I'm betraying Canada. But my disappointing player is Scotty Barnes, and I love this player. But let me tell you why. Last year, Scotty Barnes came in, and let's paint the Scotty Barnes picture. Drafted and laughed at the Raptors fans for cheering for Scotty Barnes because we let Jalen Suggs go. Right? Jalen Suggs was
not this
how
guy.
Could you? Yeah, I know. I'm saying like the Raptors fans were confused, and the what's it called? Magic fans, how happy were they? You remember those tweets? It was like they won the lottery.
Yeah.
Fast forward. Scotty Barnes is amazing. Rookie of the year. He does everything right. Plays exactly the kind of basketball you want a guy like him to play, right?
Yeah.
How could you be upset? How could we disappoint this year? Well, what happened in the offseason? Well, the Raptors started being involved in Kevin Durant talks. And what did the fans say? The conversation cannot start with Scotty Barnes. Now, all of a sudden, we're putting Scotty Barnes in the Kevin Durant tier? Nah, I ain't having it, bro. I'm sorry. Kevin Durant is a different animal. And the expectation of Scotty Barnes from the fans is that he can get to a similar level of Kevin Durant. No, I'm not. That ain't happening. So I think he's going to be disappointing only because he can't live up to these ridiculous, absurd expectations that they've put out for him. I think he's going to be excellent and still be disappointing.
No, okay. So first of all, when that trade came out, I wasn't completely against it. I love Scotty Barnes, but with what happened with Kawhi, and I know how good that team is adding a star, I wasn't completely against it. First of all, super duper star. It's Kevin Durant. Think about that trade.
Yeah.
But Scotty Barnes, he's just getting better and better and better. And you're right, because he plays the right way. He's not asked to go out there and score 50 points. He's out there to be the glue guy and only get better as the glue guy. You watched him play against like James Harden this year. They were doing these practice runs and stuff. James Harden was talking about Scotty Barnes. James Harden doesn't talk positive about anybody.
That's true.
Who does James Harden be like, this guy's the bomb? Nobody, right? Like, I've never heard that. Maybe he does. I've never heard it. But Scotty Barnes coming in and just getting to be the glue guy, get better on a team that finally has a healthy Pascal Siakam, a Fred VanVleet, who's the most confident he's ever been. I think this team and our two guard we got from Portland. I'm so bad with names.
Why am I Gary Trent?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Gary Trent Jr. Like, this team is OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, who's playing really great off the bench. You know, we have these great, amazing basketball players in this team, and he just gets to be the glue guy around them. He finally has a better 3-point shot. He's going to rebound. He's going to assist. I think his numbers are going to be off the charts. Kevin Durant in the same level. He's very young. Let's give him some time.
Oh, see, there it is. See, everything you said, I was on board with. I agreed with everything you said until that. And that is why I think he's going to be disappointing. Because everything you said is basketball. That is all basketball related. And then you get to the Kevin Durant, and all of a sudden the expectations, that's from the fans. I think Scotty Barnes is going to do all the basketball things that they're asking him to do. I don't think the Raptors are asking him to be Kevin Durant. But that right there, that expectation from you, that give him time. He is not Kevin Durant.
No, but what I'm saying is, what do you want? What do you want? So this is the question between whether you want Kevin Durant for a year or you want Scotty Barnes, who you see this year maybe closing to averaging a triple-double.
Kevin Durant, 4 years.
Kevin Durant, well, he would have asked for a trade after a year in Toronto. Come on, man.
What? Why would he ask for a trade?
When has he not asked for a trade after a year? He's out.
If I'm
he
being
would
fair
have to
to
go
Kevin
through
Durant,
the border. No, he would have
never
to go
asked
through the
for
border
a trade until this
every
year.
time, show his passport every single time, go through customs, and be like,
if they're winning games, he's not asking for a trade. He also has to. He's someone who I would assume
winning
cares
game.
About his reputation.
He carried them to the playoffs last year without Kyrie or James Harden.
Last year they got swept with Kyrie.
But through the whole year. Yeah, but
I think he wanted structure. Sorry, the fly somehow got in here. This is the middle of October. I don't know what's happening. But
KD, how old is KD?
30, I want to say 34, 35. Let's find out.
So 4 years of KD, I don't necessarily know if I want him versus Scotty Barnes in the long run, because he's going to be 38.
He's 34.
He's going to be 34. So by the end of that contract, he's going to be 38. Right? He's getting older. He's getting up there. But Scotty Barnes is a young guy who could be the future of your organization.
I want to give credit to Nick Wright, because this is his argument to that. And I didn't think about it at the time, but now it really rings true. I don't think you count anyone in the NBA for 10 years. At any point, these guys, like, how many guys have left the team that 5 years ago would have been counted as a 10-year guy?
I would say that for a lot of teams. I don't necessarily feel that way about the Raptors. We have a thing about guys that stay there and they love it and they want to stay. And because we build them,
have left.
We had them for a long time. You're right. Vince 10 Carter, years might not be 10 years.
Chris Bosh, Kawhi Leonard.
But Chris Bosh, what I'm
saying is that
Kawhi was a one and done.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about like the guys. Talking about the guys that were kind of bred there, right? So like a Kyle Lowry, a DeMar DeRozan, who's the Scotty Barnes is going to be in that because he's going to be happy that we're there and he proved everybody wrong.
I think the issue is the honeymoon period with this can be fleeting, and I don't want to get sucked into that. The Raptors have to be good.
What is your versus Kevin Durant and Scotty Barnes? What does Scotty Barnes have to do this year to prove to you that he was worth not making that trade?
Well, okay. One, I don't know what the trade would have been. My argument was that I don't think Scotty Barnes is a non-starter, but let's say it was Scotty Barnes plus
just give
salary.
me what you think. What you think?
So no, I'm going to give you the trade. I'll give you the trade. The best version of the trade for the Raptors where it includes Scotty Barnes, so we can talk about it that way. So we'll say Kevin Durant and the Raptors trade Scotty Barnes, 4 picks with the swaps, and then the salary to match, but the Raptors keep all of their main core guys other than that, right? Let's say that's the trade. Then I would say that I would do that trade only because I think the Raptors immediately become 1 or 2 in the East, right? If you're able to have Siakam, I'm guessing you'd have to lose Gary Trent Jr. for the salary to work. So we'll say he's the other one. If you have Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby and Kevin Durant. I mean, Fred is obviously small, but the length, the switchability.
I'm also very high on Chris Boucher.
Yeah. So, okay. And there's another one, Chris Boucher. So that's where my issue comes in, where it's like, if you take out Gary Trent and Scotty Barnes and put in a Kevin Durant, are the Raptors a better team this year? I think unequivocally they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think next year as well. Now, in 3 years, they might not be. 4 years, I don't know how age is going to hit Durant, right? Especially with all the injury history. But what I'm talking about is the Raptors had a superstar alpha for 1 year, and we saw what that could be.
That team is amazing if they add 100%. That's why I was in the conversation of the Durant trade, because I've seen how well this team works if they just have a dude that can close for them.
And let me bring up one other thing. I think front office and coaching matters. If you have a superstar like Kevin Durant, but you also have not only competent coaching, but elite coaching and elite management. That to me, like, you could put Kevin Durant went to the Nets. Why didn't it work? Well, all they were trying to do was put superstars around him. He had no depth. He had coaching. And I mean, I love Steve Nash. The coaching has been atrocious in Brooklyn, and they don't run any sets, any plays. The Raptors would put Kevin Durant in so many spots to succeed. That's why I hated the dismissal of it. As someone who loves Scotty Barnes, I'm going to come off from this podcast as a Scotty Barnes hater. It's not that. I just don't want him.
For one of the first times, I don't fully disagree with you. That conversation should have happened. Like that is an important conversation to have for Katie. But I'm asking you, what does Scotty Barnes have to do to prove you wrong?
Oh, I mean, me being wrong.
What would he do?
He would have to average 25, let's say 25, 8, 4, and defensively be, top 10% in the league. I'm not putting him. I don't need him to be KD.
25, 8, 4, defensively top 10 in the league. Copy that, Scotty. I believe in you. I think you're amazing.
Hey, man, prove me wrong. Principal Skinner said to the kids, prove me wrong, kids.
10% on defense. Let's go, Toronto Raptors.
I mean, I don't think anyone would be upset with that, right? That
not at all. But I think he's very capable of doing that this year, almost easy.
Oh wow, okay. Well, yeah, you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think more so. My point of it all was not that I have this expectation for Scotty, more that I didn't want people to put an unrealistic expectation on him, and that's where my concern for him as a player comes. Right? We've seen it all before, right? Guys built up. I mean, how many players have been put on a pedestal and then not been able to? I don't think that's going to happen in Toronto.
I guess I'm excited about it with Scotty because I've seen him accept it. I've seen him not shy away from any of this conversation and said, go after, play James Harden full court in practice.
You want to talk about a guy who does everything right. I mean, on the court, it's all there. So
yeah, he's the perfect guy for every team.
I'm literally gonna get canceled by Canada. I'm ready for it.
I love this how it became Scotty Barnes podcast. And I'm not mad about it. Let's go.
Scotty Barnes for life. All right. Next topic here. We got the play-in team you would not want to play. So we each picked a team that we think is going to be in that mix for play-in. So this wouldn't be like the Bucks. This wouldn't be like the Sixers. More so the 6 to 10 range of who those elite teams would not want to see make it out of the play-in game. So I'll let you go first on this one.
So my team being the Raptors. Yeah. I also love Golden State. I love Steph Curry and Golden State, but Raptors are my team. I want to put that out there. It's either, it's either the Knicks or the Bulls. I'm going to say the Bulls for sure. Actually, if I'm categorizing those two teams, the Bulls for sure. They are, they have DeRozan, Levine, a stud, Vucevic. Like, what don't they have at every position? They got Caruso off the bench. Yeah. Now they have Andre Drummond, who's shooting threes, who comes in for 12 minutes a game and gets 13 rebounds.
Well, that's 7 ridiculous. Of those are his own offensive rebounds, but we'll talk about that a different day.
As long as he gets a bucket at the end of it, I accept. If you're shooing threes,
that's how Scotty Barnes can get to those numbers I was talking about.
Exactly. Thank you, Andre Drummond in the East. Yeah. Also, a big thing we never talk about with Chicago this year that I think is very important. Off the bench, they have an Antetokounmpo, and we know that might be the greatest luck charm you can have to winning a championship.
True. So I can't argue with that.
Also, DeMar would want to destroy the Raptors if they play them in the playoffs, right? He would want to you can get playoff mid-range DeMar going, and I don't want to see that.
Mid-range DeMar against the Raptors. First of all, DeMar showing up in the playoffs would be something Raptors fans would just cry at, because
oh my
for
God,
years they didn't get to see that happen. But
yeah, but that's the way honestly, what's great about the league is that's kind of where it's headed. We spread the floor out to the three. Now we're heading back to kind of the big man era, where we can have a little bit of both, but it really leaves open the mid-range. That's why DeMar is flourishing right now.
I mean, the Clippers went back in time last year, the amount of mid-range they were shooting, and it's the high efficiency that they're
open
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my team
Who's yours?
is this is one that it's homerism, but I will preface it by saying only if, and the only if is if the Lakers do make that trade with Russell Westbrook to bring in like, let's say the Buddy Hield Miles Turner trade everyone's heard about, right?
Yeah.
I think the Lakers are going to stink in the first half of the season while Westbrook's on the team. But obviously he's an expiring contract, and tanking teams love to take on expiring contracts.
Yes.
I don't think any team in the West would want to play against a Lakers team that was fully healthy with no Westbrook and replacement parts. That's the only point I have about it. I don't think the Lakers even make the playoffs currently constructed. But if you bring in two solid NBA, I'm not asking for stars, just solid NBA players for Russell Westbrook, it changes the trajectory of that team by a lot. Like playoff LeBron, we all know, that's a totally crazy hard thing to quantify, because we've never seen anything like it outside of Michael Jordan, the greats, right? But I think the Lakers, if healthy and the trade goes through, I would be so annoyed if I was maybe not Golden State, because they play the Lakers well, but if I was a 1 seed in the West and you see the Lakers come in at 9 and they were at 13, they make this trade. Now they're climbing up the standings, and you're like, okay, AD's healthy, LeBron's healthy. What the hell did we do wrong? This is,
and Pat Bev on defense cannot be denied. No disrespect.
I'm trying my best not to talk about Pat Bev, because
I know you are. I can see it.
Stand.
I just love so much. I'm laughing because this is our first episode, and I should have predicted this, that it's become Lakers watch. And that's where
I'm just
we're
trying to
now.
save us. You've put us in such a hole that
I said that they're going to be the team that they're going to underperform. They're not going to do anything. Then they're the team that are going to come up.
You're an actor. They're never going to let you back in LA. You can't be against the Lakers and the Clippers.
No, they got another team there, and I love my John Wall. We're good.
Yeah, no,
we're all good.
So that's my my playing team you would not want to play. I think it's reasonable to say that no team wants to play LeBron James in the playoffs if they don't have.
I would want to beat him. I would know.
They all say it.
No, I would want to know that I won the championship by beating LeBron James. That's what I want.
Fair. All right, on to the final topic of the day, the one that I'm very excited to talk about, the one that I traded the theme song. No, go ahead.
Okay, Justin will let me have the theme song. I really wanted the theme song very badly. I felt like this podcast needed a theme song. And so he had this segment that I really thought I really hated. I hate the idea of it. I hate the name of it, but I had to acquiesce. Go ahead. You know what? Go ahead.
First of all, the idea of it is fine. I think you just hated the context as to which we get there.
Yes. 100%.
So the last topic is Kardashian watch. And what that means is, well, we know the Kardashians have a tendency to not only date NBA players, but date, younger up and coming guys. They are in their own right excellent NBA scouts. They found Jordan Clarkson.
That's a good point.
Right? They found Jordan Clarkson. They found Devin Booker. They're out there doing the Lord's work for us. So I thought we would kind of pick and choose a couple of guys on the up and up that might make good Kardashian, not spouses, but dates. So we each picked one
draft
player.
Picks, Kardashian draft picks.
Yeah, Kardashian draft picks. So Sachin, who you got on your list?
Okay, so I looked at I had to look up the trajectory of all this because I'm not up to date on all of this Kardashian gossip as much. But because of where we're headed now, I'm going to pick Josh Giddey of the Oklahoma City. He's from Australia. He's kind of this stud. Kim just dated Pete Davidson. He's not like a Chris Humphries or a Ben Simmons. He's not humongous. He's like 6 something. Obviously, he's an NBA point guard, but he's actually no. I think he might be like 6'7". He's very tall.
I think he is.
Anyways,
tall.
He is very tall for a point guard. Even better. God, an Australian. He's cool. He's got the wavy hair. I think Josh Giddey. He's going to come out of nowhere, and also it's a market that they might not have tapped yet.
That's
so
true.
If I'm going to play
in
this
more than one sense, anyways.
Boo.
Yeah.
I'm
All right,
gonna
this is
play
why
this.
you hated the
I'm gonna
topic.
play
By
this
the way.
ridiculous topic. My pick is Josh Giddey.
By the way, Josh Giddey is not 6'7". He's 6'8". He's even taller.
Oh my
It's
God,
unbelievable.
him and Chet Holmgren,
Straight out of Melbourne, Josh
Yeah.
Giddey, and that's a good pick.
Yeah.
The obvious pick as a Canadian is, I mean,
Yes.
let's go through this guy just got a new contract, so he's qualified, like you listed. Ben Simmons, we had Devin Booker, Jordan. These guys all got paid, and then
freshly inked.
Yeah, so he's qualified. Where does this guy live? New York City, biggest franchise in the league, arguably, the New York Knicks.
Okay.
Canadian, none other than RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett
Plays the game the right way. Not the greatest shooter, but neither was Ben Simmons, and he did fine with them. So,
but RJ, it's a great choice.
So here's my case for RJ. He's got everything going for him in terms of living in New York. I think he's 22 years old. Right in the wheelhouse. They're always looking for the younger ones. And RJ is he's poised for a breakout. I think New York might be a team that surprises some people. I think they've lacked a lot of shooting talent the last few years, and that's kind of why I can remember that Hawks series. Like, they just got shot out of the building. Like, they just couldn't keep up offensively. But I hope for RJ's sake that he picks it up, just as a Canadian, and that Zion draft is starting to look a little hard. Zion and John Morant separating themselves. But I think the Kardashians have their eye on my boy RJ.
I like RJ. I'm gonna deviate from this Kardashian to talk about basketball. I like RJ Barrett because a big thing is, like, in New York, Jalen Brunson, first of all, I think is a great pickup. Like, it's a lot of money, but I think he's great. But RJ is young.
Yeah.
RJ, how old is he? Like 21?
I think he's 22.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just turned 22. He's really young. So, like, we're putting a lot of pressure on this guy who's just really not even remotely in his prime.
Yeah.
And he's already playing like he's already like 27, 28. He already looking like he's looking strong. So I have a lot of faith in RJ Barrett and his career in general to play like this at a tender age of 22. I think if the Kardashians are smart, for you, Jess, they would get him early.
Let's be honest, they haven't tapped the Canadian market yet, and so if they're willing to go to Oklahoma City, they're probably willing to go to Toronto. Is what and
they'll also get Australia, Oklahoma City, and Canada. This is brilliant.
It's about global reach. It's not about finding talent in just the US. They would have found Giannis if they had put their minds to it.
You're not wrong, but Giannis has been Giannis and his wife's relationship. Like, I watched that with a complete joy.
It's okay. Sidebar. My favorite thing that Giannis did with his wife was when he won the championship on Instagram, because you're not married yet, so this isn't something I don't know if you've dealt with, but I have dealt with it. If you're filming and your wife doesn't want to be on camera, you do not put her on camera under any circumstance. For whatever reason, she doesn't like her makeup. His wife said in that video, they're in the line at Chick-fil-A, don't put me on camera. He's on film for like 30 minutes, and not once does that camera inch towards her face. The respect that this man had for that request, it's the little things, you know what I mean? I don't know if anyone else out there understands where I'm coming from, but that matters. That matters a lot.
100%. I'm not married, but I've been in relationships. I understand the non-camera.
I don't know. I thought maybe we're just using this podcast to find you a relationship. I don't know what the purpose of this was.
Indian matchmaker basketball. We had to specify we were brown so that the Indian matchmaker would know that she can come for me.
So
everybody loves that show, apparently.
Confirms to all the ladies out there that you not only have a couch, but you have a hat.
Let's move on.
So, anyways, that was our first episode, our NBA season preview. If you guys have any comments on make sure you not only like and subscribe, but you post your comments, post any sort of rebuttals you have with Sachin, of course. And Lakers fans, don't be afraid to let him know.
He got game.
Get in there. Get in there.
Come after me if you can. Because they're not going to have anything to say this year. So, what's the point?
The Lakers fans?
Yeah, what are they going to say?
January. Just wait until Russ is in Palm Beach relaxing while they trade him. Because where's he going? Wherever he goes, he's
going to be sitting with Anthony Davis.
Please, the man only has one eyebrow. Can you just leave him alone? All right, guys.
Maybe it's messing up his balance.
Okay, all right. Well, this has been fun, Such. Thanks for doing this. This has been the first episode of the Brown Guys podcast, Brown Guys basketball podcast. See, I'm already making mistakes.
It's day one.
It's day one, but this has been really fun. We're going to be trying to do at least one episode a week. Hopefully we can get a little more out there, but look for us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Damn, we're everywhere.
We're going to be everywhere.
Sweet.
We're going to be in anything and everything. All right, boys. Guys, take care.
Later.
These two brown guys love basketball. Brown guys love basketball. Who doesn't love basketball? So let's talk basketball.